Yeah, you the model, the lawyer, the stewardess. Yeah. You the doctor, the dentist, you doing it. That's why they scared of your beauty, they scared of your face, they scared.
So what's up, Calvin Klein, aka Calvin Clausell, but I can call you Calvin Klein because we go way back.
Clausell?
Clausell.
Yeah.
Calvin Klein. I'm keeping you as Calvin Klein.
It's cool. I'll still call you Avocado.
Avocado. Oh, God. And you're the only one that does that, so. So how are you? How's everything with pandemic?
Everything is really interesting. It's good. Interesting for sure. I feel like I'm grateful where it's like I haven't been hit. I had COVID.
You did?
Yeah, earlier, like early April. It was just like light flu-like symptoms. Like I've been sicker in my life. Like,
okay.
And I felt myself getting sick, and then me and my girlfriend were like, we're not gonna talk about it. I just tried to ignore it at first, but I was like on the couch, like cold sweats, like, fuck, this is crazy. Like I didn't know what to expect from it. And then after like a few days, I got better, and then I started to feel better, and then I completely lost my sense of smell and taste. And I was like, damn, I have this shit. This is crazy. Like, like, and I only had one day where I was like, yo, like I need to get some fresh air. Like I feel like it was like part anxiety, part like, you know, chest tightening type shit too. So it was like I just like meditated on it, was taking deep breaths, holding my breath and stuff like that. I've never in my life lost my sense of smell and taste. Like that was the first time, and that was like one of the main symptoms. Like I got tested recently at the Dodger Stadium, which was a lot, but and I'm negative now. So
well, yeah. I'm happy that you're okay. I'm glad that she's okay.
Yeah, me too. Other than that, COVID, I mean, during this time, like, it's just been a time to kind of go inward. Like, I feel like a lot of people feel like that, but I feel like I've been exploring this now that it's been a while now. I feel like I've been exploring the city more. Like, I got a bike, so I'm just like biking with my homies in like Malibu. And
you're like in that Hollywood area, so that's where you don't need cars.
Yeah. So I mean, you still like I take my bike in the car, and then like I get out of the city. you do not want to ride a bike in the city. It's not fun. Still too much going on. But there's a lot of different gyms like throughout Hollywood and LA, Malibu, Santa Monica and stuff that I've been discovering more so now because I'm not so busy focused on like, you know, I gotta be ready, audition, this and that. So I've been able to slow down.
So for these lovely people who are watching that don't know who you are, I'm gonna give a little bit of an intro to my good friend here. This is Calvin Klein.
Less of a bank account than the actual
Less of a bank account.
Like it's getting there.
Calvin and I used to work at Gold's Gym way back in the day. We were just talking about this probably about 6-ish years ago, maybe 7. A little bit more, or 7, probably 7. So we worked together. Calvin was a personal trainer. I was at the front desk. We became cool homies and have been through a bunch of stuff. So Calvin used to be a personal trainer, former EMT, former aspiring firefighter. Totally remember that. But now turned to actor. I'm so proud. I'm so proud of my friend. Now turned to actor and has been in couple commercials. He's got some solid projects he's working on right now. I'm going to let you share some of that right now. But I know that you were in the show Snowfall. Your role as Bootsy.
Mm-hmm.
Am I saying that right? Bootsy? It just doesn't fit your character because you were such a like aggressive person in that show.
Yeah, I play a real hood nigga in that show. It's in there. It's deep. It's tucked deep down in there, though. You just got to bring it out. I feel like I'm a super zen person off top, but like, you know.
See, I mean, glad I never brought that side out of you, because I would have been like,
hard to bring that side out.
Good.
It's fun to bring it out, though.
I bet. Low key, if I were to do some acting stuff and I would be given a role to play this malicious, evil character type of person, someone very much not like me, because I'm such a
right.
I think that would be fun, and that would be my excuse to get out some of that aggression, bring out some of that side of me that I would never want to, but at the same time it would be fun.
Right.
But yeah, so I decided to call you up. Thanks for coming on and chatting with me. I wanted to touch base, first of all, because it's been a long time, and also talk about what life has been like for you during the pandemic. and as an artist and as a creative, how this has challenged you. For an actor's life, a lot of stuff has been put on hold.
Honestly, this has been, acting is like, to the times that you actually get to act is so few and far between. Like most of acting is like trying to stay ready for opportunities. So it's like your mind, even though it's like you act maybe 2% of the time when you get booked or when you create your own project or when you're just like trying to stay busy in classes or something like that. But 99% is just like your mind is so wrapped around what can I do next? How can I improve? How can I, do something? So it's like, it's honestly been kind of a nice break to get away from that for a little bit, because I've been in it now for 7 years. So it's like kind of like a relief in a sense, like much needed. It's like I miss it for sure, but there's nothing going on right now. Like my managers, I've gotten like a couple of self-tapes, a couple like commercially, and some Zoom auditions. I got like my most recent audition for like this Tyler Perry show recently, it's interesting now. It's just doing everything self-tape and everything is like Zoom or online or something like that. And I much like more prefer in-person auditions.
Oh, you
So
do?
it's like, yeah, like I like the pressure. I like preparing, like going into, the room with people you never like that don't know you, and you get to present who you get to be. Like if I'm doing it at home, it's just like, it's cool, but it's like I think you get in your head more because you're like, oh, does that take good or does that take good? So it's like,
I see that.
yeah.
I can see how you
Yeah.
do that.
But it's now I feel like it's just been a time for me to just kind of hone in on my own other arts that has been able to kind of give me some freedom and peace of mind throughout this process.
That's true. Also, what I wanted to mention is how you are this insanely talented artist and you have amazing pieces, and I'll probably end up showing them like a clip of them here, but right there it is.
There you go.
But also, Calvin knows the love that I have for Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
That's true.
And so he drew me. he sketched me Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Man, I did that?
Bro, I saved it until this day, and I
That's
have
crazy.
Look at it.
Yeah, that's actually really good.
Dude, I don't know what picture you took this from, but I loved it.
That's crazy. I can't believe you still have that. I'm kind of proud of that. I thought it was gonna look like shit, but
yeah.
damn, that's crazy.
Sucker framed.
Not bad. I would look at my younger self and be like, "Good job, man! Like that was good."
If anything, you could like take a picture of this and have it saved as this.
Yeah. Did I date it?
12/5/2011. December.
Damn, that's crazy. Consistency. Yeah, I've been doing this shit for a long time. That's crazy.
Dude, and that meant a lot to me. Of course I'm gonna keep that drawing.
That's crazy.
Of the love of my life. Joseph Gordon-Levitt. So yeah, so Calvin, amazing artist. So with the stuff being kind of on pause with acting, what do you think? I know you were also talking about taking a step back and it's been kind of nice. There's always that silver lining. Like even though everything's been on pause, everything's shut down, our hustle mentality and our work, or else we're not doing anything that makes us feel guilty for stopping. But you taking that opportunity.
It wasn't easy in the beginning. In the beginning, for sure, it was just like, because we're in like month like 6 or some shit now, it's just like I've been able to find my way through it. But in the beginning, for sure, it was like moments of like, I think for me, it's like I focus a lot on meditation and a lot on trying to feel good in wherever, like just feeling that balance between it. Like especially doing what we do, it's like you have to have that balance. So I don't let the highs like get to my head and I don't let the lows like try to get to me either. So it's just like going through this, it's more so the people around me, honestly, that are just like like my girlfriend was freaking out a little bit, and like my mom, and like, just people that I know. And it's like not letting other people's energy affect mine as well. And like while I'm still trying to go through this, trying to figure things out, I just always have this belief, even like with acting, I think that's how it gets me through it. It's just like everything's going to be good for me. I can't speak on, a lot of other things, but just like me within myself and my energy, I just always feel like I'm going to be good regardless.
Dang. So that positive mindset, I think, will always keep you grounded. The freak out can easily come because of the crisis when it comes to jobs. Now you're not booking jobs. Now you're not working. So what does that look like? how have you've stayed calm through that process? Is that because you were a smart saver? Is that because now you've ventured into other things?
Yeah, so that it's a little bit of both. Like I was blessed to be able to like I booked a few different jobs. Like in November, I booked two national commercials like back in November, and then I booked two different TV shows and a movie. So like I did all of that stuff like right before this stuff happened. So it's like all of that money kind of started to roll in for me like during the process of this. But I think I don't I don't know for sure, but I just choose to believe that it's because of my mindset that things ended up working out for me in
For
this
sure.
way. So while a lot of, it could have been much worse, obviously. I can't speak on how my mindset would be if it wasn't, but like, yeah, I just feel like because of that, because of I choose to save and spend wisely, like, especially because you kind of have to prepare for moments of uncertainty. I went a year, like 11 months without booking a single job, like almost an entire year of grinding. I probably did like 300 auditions, like, and I didn't book a single job, going through the most, like extremely hard year. And that was the year before I ended up booking Snowfall.
Uh-huh.
So it's like I went through my most challenging year, and then that ended up propelling me into like two of the best years that I had, like acting wise. So yeah.
I love that so much. Okay, so let's rewind a little bit then. When you left Golds, and I remember when you moved out to LA, and I remember that step that you took, and me thinking, this is really random. He's doing acting now. All right, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, that's fine. He wants to be big and famous. What led into that? Was that always something that was within you? That's one question. And then also that process, that long time, the 11 months of not booking, how did you practice that mindset to keep going?
Man, I feel like the more I started when I was like 24, I was so unhappy. Like around that time of goals and like being an EMT and just trying to figure shit out, like it's like you have your own self in a bubble. Like you haven't expanded your awareness to opportunities that are all around you, but it's just because you haven't grown into it yet. And so I had myself in this bubble of not really believing I could do something. And then the moment I started to I trusted myself enough before I even really knew what intuition was to take a solo trip, on the other side of the country. Like I did that at 25. Like I started reading around the same time. And then I was just like, not like what I love doing. I feel like I'm talented at so many different things, but like the master of all is a master of none, So it's just like, what can I do that will allow me to do these things that I love to do? And I feel like that's acting. Like acting, I can become whoever I want. I can do whatever I want. I can learn a skill and practice it intensely for like 6 months and utilize it. So just in realizing I always wanted to do that, like there was something in me that always wanted to be an actor. I just didn't know how to like own up to it or accept it or embrace it. So I almost went like the safe route. Like my parents are from like Compton and South Central, and then they raised me in Orange County. Like they got out of the hood. They never put me down to do anything. I was always open to do whatever. I just wasn't thinking big enough, So the moment I started to think bigger, it's like, even when I first took my first acting class, like when I was like 24, all this stuff started to happen around the same time, just trying new things. I didn't even go. I talked myself out of going to my first acting class.
Whoa.
Like people don't talk about that stuff. Like, and then I still have a journal entry to this day of like, oh, don't beat yourself up about it, man. Like, man up and go to the next one, and then I ended up going to the next one. And then I ended up going to the next one, It's
You were
like,
your own support system.
you have to be,
Yeah.
in this industry. It's like, in this doing what you're doing, it's like, you have to believe it. And you have to like, a lot of people talk about like the confidence that I have now is like compounded, like all you have to do is start like a little bit, like believe in yourself a little bit. When I first got on LA Casting, which is like one of the sites for commercials and stuff, like I booked this job for CrossFit, like a CrossFit commercial that paid me like $2,500 for like an hour of working out. And I was like, what? I can do this. People like dressing me in the nicest things, tying my shoes for me. And I'm like, it's a wrap. Like I have to do this.
I can get used to this. I mean,
yeah,
we're still rolling, right? Cool. I'm just going to keep going.
Literally. So it was like taking the chances to actually like get me to the like where I wanted to go. And it was little victories that kept me going. Like the thrill and the fulfillment of actually booking something that in like achieving something that I really actually want to do, there's nothing better, you know, than actually like achieving something and fulfilling. Like, it's not just like on the surface, like, oh, I want to be famous. Like, no, like I genuinely love performing and love doing these things. And like, I get to do it and I'm talented at it. So it's like, that kept me going. So even through that 11-month thing, just from what I've been reading, the things that in the way that I've been practicing my life, from traveling to, you know, just the things that I've experienced, like that grounded me. It was like, it doesn't matter what I have to go through. It's like, I've chosen this. Like, this is what I'm doing. Like, it's, for me, it feels like it's already written. All the other things I was going through before, I didn't know what I was doing. You know, like I was finding that. Like, that's literally what your 20s are. Like, me being 30 now, it's like, damn, you look back and like, that's really what that is. Like, and people can spend their whole life, you know, searching and finding it. It's all good no matter what. I'm still finding it in a way, but I fell in love with it. And like, so it didn't matter. It doesn't matter what I have to go through. Even now, it's like, I'm going through other things now, but it's like, I'm still going to pursue what I'm pursuing, and it's still going to pick back up eventually. And I'm still going to go after it.
You know what I love? So you're pretty much describing the journey of, most of us are just trying to be happy in this world. I've talked to a lot of people in terms of purpose in life.
Mm-hmm.
And one common thing from people who have this kind of concrete answer is like, my purpose is just to be happy. And you saying that you already feel like this is kind of written for you, and this is your passion, it's what you love to do. So it doesn't matter how hard it is. It doesn't matter what you have to go through and the struggles and everything. You know that it's for you. And that doesn't like guarantee some kind of fame or super glamorous lifestyle, but it's that confidence that you're doing something that makes you happy. I think when it just clicks like that, then it's taking that step, and it may be scary, but the scary doesn't outweigh the excitement for it, like the desire to go out after it.
It's crazy because in the beginning, it's like, you can only connect the dots when you're looking back, you know? And so when I quit and I was like a server at BJ's and shit, and I was like unhappy, I was like, I gotta do something different. It's like, you know, just I have to do something different. And just that feeling of feeling stuck is like all in your head. Side note, one of the people that I really like fuck with is Gary Vaynerchuk, because like he preaches to,
dude, that guy's a freaking brilliant mastermind at just.
Again, one of the things he preaches about though is changing your mind and that being okay. You know, like I wish I heard things like that at 18. It's like, you don't have to be stuck in any idea. Like, I can be an actor today and I can choose, I'm gonna do something different tomorrow. Eventually, that's all we're learning. It's like, get outside of this idea, get outside of television. Like, you don't have to do what you're doing. You can do something completely different. And when I did that, is when it opened me up to act. And it doesn't mean that it was going to be easier. Like, I slept in my car. I lost my apartment because like I wasn't spending wisely. I had to move back home at one point in time. Like, and then like it completely rose up again. It's like, you know, like it just like, it's a roller coaster. It is.
It's the stuff that you have to go through. But then that confidence, now you look back and you see the person that you've become and who you used to be. You had to spend the night sleeping in your car. You had to spend like a damn fool, so that now you're like, oh crap, all right, so now I have money coming in. Let's be responsible about this and plan for a future, because you never know when a pandemic's gonna hit. And now you're stuck.
And just like you were saying, like how you feel like your faith got tested and everything like that, like I'm a very spiritual person, and I believe in like manifesting, and I believe that I can speak things into existence, and like I follow through with action and things I believe in. Or when I first started to gain more consciousness of like the intention of the things I wanted to set out and do, I was like, oh, word, this is working. And then I don't know if I got scared of it a little bit, or I wasn't like, but I feel like there's like levels to it. It's like you figure it out a little bit, like, and then you get tested on what you feel like you figured out. And then it's like you kind of go through your new trials at this phase. It's like, instead of thinking like, oh, I figured it, like, no, you didn't. You didn't figure shit out. You figured this part out.
And honestly, I think when it comes to believing, because I know that a lot of us believe that we have our version of greatness within us. And that goes for everybody. I believe that. I believe that every single person has a purpose and has greatness in them. Yeah. And when people might get flustered with the I'm visualizing it, but it's not happening, or I'm maybe taking these actions, but it hasn't been going my way and it feels wrong or something. I think that people get really fixated or even need to take an even smaller step. So for example, if you were like, okay, I want to start acting, I want to be an actor, instead of visualizing something that might be way too overwhelming and scary, it's just visualizing, hey, maybe I should just take some headshots and going on an audition.
Literally, yeah.
I can see that. Like, I can see that in my mind and I can feel it and I get excited about it. And okay, so now we're doing it. And then you get the ball rolling with something like that. And then you take the hits of rejection, but then you're like, it's cool. I got it. It's just, I just got to go on a few more auditions, just a few more. And then you get that burst of energy when you finally book something and you get a call back and then you go on the second one. So it's just breaking it down in that way. I think it sounds like you've mastered the ability to be able to take in those bite sizes. Like, you see the big picture. I know that you have a big vision for your life, but I think you for sure have mastered the ability to look at the step in front of you. Just focus on the step in front of you and go for that.
Definitely. Shout out to Oprah. And I posted this thing the other day on my Instagram just about stop measuring your days in productivity. Start measuring them in your presence. Like, how present are you in this day? Like, where are you at? It's so easy to get caught into like, oh, I had a good day because I got so much done. But like, you can like half-ass get shit done or like just be somewhere else. Your mind is somewhere else. And
I'm so guilty of it, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's a definitely a journey and a practice for sure. But that's just something that I'm more mindful of now. And COVID has definitely taught me that. It's just like, okay, you can't do this, but where are you? Like, what can you do today? Like, and even like now, like I just ended up like, I just as an adult got a new MacBook Pro, like, and got a laptop. Like, I'm like, all right, word. Like, there's so many other creative projects. Like now it's like, word. Now I have Premiere Pro. Now I'm like, what can I shoot? Like now it's like, how can I take matters into my own hands? Because it's like, I don't know when things are going to pick up again, So, but I'm still a creative, and I know things now from being on set. I know how to work and utilize with people. Like, so yeah, it's all different things you can do to benefit yourself.
Dude, that's so good, because one of the biggest things that I'm seeing, and Gary Vee talks about this all the time, you can be in control. Like, to be an entrepreneur, I know that it has this rap of like, oh my God, only certain personality types can be entrepreneurs, only certain people. I'm not that type. Like, I don't just like, tell me what to do and then I can do it. And then that's my job. But I like that we're being forced outside of that. I like that we're being taken away from the typical, I get hired by a good company and I have stability there, when now our world is being shaken and you realize, oh, my stability is not so stable anymore. And so now we're able to see and look around and think, what do I do to be in control of my income? And actually paying attention to the things that make us happy. So you had this journey, and I really hope that people listening would be inspired to take these leaps, because man, I'm 31. I feel like I might be barely taking a couple leaps because of my comfort. I'm so used to my comfort. I'm so used to the things that I know. You're doing it.
One thing that I like from what I've read for sure is just like, we are what we repeatedly do, right? So our habits are what control our life. And so one of the things that I've been intentional about is I want to make doing things differently and changing my mind and I want to make that a habit. Like, because you can either make comfort a habit or you can make being uncomfortable a habit. And you can feel good and progress and be in a good position, but still be uncomfortable. I like doing things that I know are going to change my mindset and make me grow. Like, there's no way you can grow doing the same shit. Like, if you do the same things and if you stay comfortable, you end up being left behind, because the world is always moving forward. It's always moving in a specific way. So if you stay stagnant, then you're actually going backwards.
Like putting your money in a savings account at a bank that gives you 0.01%.
1% when inflation is like
when inflation is like 4 to 7, 8%.
Yeah.
No, man, we fully have control over the things that we can do in our day to day, and that will help us. And the mindset thing, I love talking to people that are in a growth mindset. If like people don't have that in their surroundings, bro, there's podcasts like up the wazoo of people talking about this stuff. You can learn so much about what's out there, about the content that's being posted out there, of people who are successful, of people in their freaking 20s. I love these millennials that are out there like, this is how I became financially free, and talking about all the different streams of incomes and just the most random things like, oh, I sold a photo on these different websites where you can sell your photos from. That's the thing. It's just opening your mind. It's learning. It's educating yourself with this stuff.
And it's knowing your worth too, because on the flip side, like as an artist, as a painter, like going from what I did for you and to grow, and I used to draw out like at the mall, to now I have like my work in an actual prestigious gallery, like a Black-owned gallery in LA. And I used to be afraid to charge people what I thought I was worth, but now like my commissions start at $1,000, and people actually pay, but my work stepped up to match my prices, which is something that I noticed too. Like you can't just charge people like 2 Gs for a painting or for anything that you do and not give or bring that type of effort and quality to the product.
Yeah.
So the more that I started to charge people, the more that I started to believe in my own worth. Like now the level of my work is actually matched to that. And like the hours I put in is matched to the work in the what I charge for it now. So that is something I noticed too.
You stepping up.
Got to.
From a black and white sketch of Joseph Gordon-Levitt to one Beyonce masterpiece.
Thanks.
Was the art a byproduct or like an accident thing? Or at what point where you're like, oh, I really want to hone in on this?
Man, that's been ingrained in me for like my whole life. I used to draw like Dragon Ball Z and Pokemon characters and shit when I was in like 2nd or 1st grade. Like, and I used to want to be an animation artist for Disney. That's what I had in my head at a young age. And I didn't realize at the time that the animation was like, you know, computers and it's like graphics and certain things. And then like as I got older, I started to realize like I'm really good at transferring imagery and like what I see in my mind to paper and canvas. And even like reading the book The Artist's Way, like that got me outside of sketching and just drawing to trying new mediums. Like you don't have to box yourself in anything. Like there's nothing that you're stuck to at all. And making yourself malleable can also be something that becomes a habit. Even now, it's like the things that I do now that I'm consistent with are things that genuinely feel good. And that's why I'm doing it consistently. So, and I just believe that, you know, consistently working on your craft is how you're going to become exceptional at it. Like, and everything that I do, regardless, like if I'm an act, I want to be one of the greatest actors in the world to live, period. Like I'm gonna think of the highest thing that I can possibly do, even as an artist. Like I want to be one of the greatest artists ever. And I think that I can, because I'm willing to put in whatever. Like I can become great as I possibly physically can, because I'm willing to put in that work. So yeah, it's just something that I always wanted to do. And as I got older, like my love for it kind of stayed the same and grew. And like, as I'm painting more and as I'm doing it, like, is this something that I'm doing because I'm good at it, or do I genuinely love it? And so I had that kind of conversation with myself, and I was like, nah, let it shit. So I'm gonna keep going. So
I love it, and I'm good at it. So
yeah, and I just feel like there's like serendipitous things that just happen that just like that keep me going, and like really paying attention to those signs. I was at like last year again, like I was at the Roosevelt. I was like with my girlfriend, and we were like gonna go out to eat or something like that, or just go get a drink somewhere. And I said one place. She was like, no, let's check out the Roosevelt. And I was like, okay, word, like let's go there. We go there, we're sitting down at the table, and then just chilling, like having a drink, and then the Game walks through, like the rapper. And I'm like, oh shit, that's a Game. I just finished this painting of Nipsey that went kind of viral. And then I was like, I'm gonna go say what's up to this nigga. I was like kind of tipsy at that time. And so I was like, yo, word, like what's up, man? Like I really respect, you know, what you're doing. Like I grew up to your music. Like I actually recently did this piece of Nip. I know you guys were close. And I want to get it to you. I want to show you it. And he was like, oh man, like he loved it. He's like, yo, that shit's hard, bro. Like, take my number down. Like, come to the crib in Calabasas, bro. Like, this is hard. I was like, word, okay, dope. And then so, you know, dapped him up, and then went back to have drinks with my girl. And then, you know, he was like being surrounded, like a bunch of like people that coming up to him and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And we were sitting at this pretty big table, like kind of a ways away, just chilling. And then him and his homie came up to our table and was like, yo, word, yo, y'all mind if we sit down with y'all? Like, it usually stops being so crazy, like, when I sit down,
Stop.
I swear to God. And
Dang.
like, word, okay, dope. And then we ended up talking to him, his homegirl came through and brought like some Chick-fil-A and had drinks with them for like 3 hours just talking. Like, I asked him so many questions. He was super down to earth, super cool. And I ended up doing this Black Jesus piece. And like, this is probably like 2-3 weeks later. And his homie FaceTimes me, and I get on FaceTime, like FaceTime with the game. And he's like, yo, I need that piece, bro. Like, come to the crib. I was like, bet, say less. Text me your address. And
Oh,
so I go to Calabasas
this guy.
and and ended up like kicking it with him, like while he was recording his next album, like with some other people and stuff. Met a bunch of dope people. And backtrack, he was actually like, yo, I'm actually hosting this thing at this club in Hollywood, right down the street from my girl's crib. And so we ended up going to the club or whatever, and then kicking it like with him there too. Like, I ended up spending the weekend with this nigga, yeah, a few weeks later, I ended up at his crib in Calabasas, like hanging out with him, gave him a picture, like, and we like took a picture. I put it on my page and stuff. And this is around the same time Snowfall drops too. So it's just like really paying attention to when that energy that you've been putting out is compounding. Because I don't believe anything is like by chance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like everything is like the intention is set. All you have to do is like listen to your intuition. And I try to do that as much as I can. I didn't sweat him about it or anything like that. Like, just we took the picture and then my work blew up. Like, because of that, I had to make a new website. People were hitting me up like crazy. I gained like 2,000 followers. Like, all just from me taking I just so happened to go to this place and then taking a chance and saying what's up to this man and being genuine. That shit can change your life. And you have to take advantage of moments and opportunities and see it. Like, anytime I see somebody or I'm like, I really fuck with their work, I go up to them like off top, like not on some fanboy shit, just as another artist. As I'm building my own portfolio and as I'm like starting to become my own thing, it's like you're starting to connect the dots. Like, I know this person and this person like work with them on this other thing, and they're like, oh, word, like it just kind of connects. So it's not like I'm coming up to them as like
with this hidden
anybody. I'm coming up to them as a peer,
Yeah.
like, so that feels good to be able to do that. And yeah, so I'm still cool with them to this day.
Bro, that's a crazy story.
Yeah, I have multiple stories like that. like multiple stories like that. Yeah.
What's another? Give me one more so that we like put those feelers out there so that we know what it is to have that, to catch those opportunities and to pay attention and to just practice positive vibes.
Word. So even my story with Snowfall, like I had been on multiple auditions prior, like, and I hadn't booked. The hardest thing to do as an actor is to get the ball rolling, because it's just like work begets work. With any career path you choose, it's gonna be hard to get hired at a job if you don't have any experience. Acting is no different. So I remember like when I got the audition, I was like, okay, I started watching the show. I hadn't watched the show yet. Season 1 and 2 was already out. And when I saw it, I was like, damn, this is really fucking dope. I actually want to be a part of this. So you get multiple auditions. You're like, I'll do it. But it's not something that my heart is in like that, but it's like, you need the leverage. You need to book something. But this one, I was like, wow, I really, really want this. And it's set in the 80s. So I really wanted this 80s track jacket. And it was like, and the day of the audition, it was like raining. And I was like, I went to 5 different stores trying to get this jacket. I'm like, nah, I need this shit. Like, I need to feel like the character, yada, yada, yada. And I was like rushing. I go in, I finally find it at one of the spots. I go in, I do the audition. I stumble on my first words. Like, I fucked up in the beginning. And I was like, yo, can we just do one more time? Like, I'm so sorry, yada, yada, yada. And they're like,
you got the jitters? Are you nervous?
Yeah, I was pretty nervous at the beginning. It was supposed to just be for, it was a small role. Like, it was for a day player, like one day, couple lines, and that's it. But it's like, you got on the show. So I was like, word, I'm grateful for whatever comes my way, And my manager, I was at the gym, and then my manager calls me, or they emails like, you're the producer's choice, you booked it, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, I start crying. I'm at the gym. I call my mom, I'm like, I made it. Oh my God, I'm so happy. Yada, yada. And he was like, I have even more news for you. He was like, they loved your audition so much that they wrote your character onto the show. You're no longer just a one-day person. You're going to be 5 episodes. You're going to have multiple lines. You're going to be on the show. And I was like, what? Like, I was like, through the fucking roof. And then, so I went from, and that never happened. He was like, I've only seen that like I've been doing this for like 20 years, and that's happened only one other time. So I went from a one-day player, like with just a couple lines, to now I just wrapped my second season with this show, and I just like, and it got paused because of COVID, but I went from one day, one episode to 2 seasons, and like multiple episodes on the show just by showing up and like just doing the thing. And when I saw the casting director at the rap party, they were like, we knew it was you from the moment you walked in. Like we wanted you.
Already
Yes.
yours.
Like you never know, like, and I was the only person. I auditioned one time. Most people, there's like multiple callbacks. I just did that one audition and it changed my life.
And now you're doing a Will Smith movie. So tell me a little about Will Smith and what, because I know that this was on pause. So when everything finally is opened up and movies are finally being out again, what can we expect? What is this Will Smith movie? Tell me about it.
So it's called King Richard. It's about Venus and Serena's father, actually. Will Smith is playing their dad. So it's and that's why it's like, I really pray and hope that they finish it. They're invested so heavy into it. We already shot like half the movie already. And, but it's such an important story right now, especially because Black Lives Matter, especially because that's being more exposed. And it's a really empowering movie about, because this man was a mastermind, like Venus and Serena's father. Like he wrote out like a whole like journal, like of exactly how their life is going to be, exactly like how his life is going to be. He spoke it into existence. This is before they were born. They were like in the womb. He was like, my daughters are going to become tennis stars. They're going to be like this. So you're going to be doing that. So we're going to be doing that. Like he literally like manifested like their life and his, like, and he came from nothing, like absolutely nothing. But his mindset is so empowering, and it's a story that people definitely need to hear. So like Venus and Serena are like kids in the movie, and it's about their journey and their process like throughout this whole thing. So, and Will Smith is like, man, getting to watch him like do his thing is like one of the dopest experiences of my life.
Dude, I think that is like the ultimate, getting to work with Will Smith.
Yeah, it was like a master class on like, all the acting classes I've done, like they don't prepare.
They do not compare. You have Will Smith in front of you and you're watching him and you're working a scene with him.
Yeah.
You're done.
And that's another thing. It's like so the week before that, so I auditioned for that 5 times. I was like sick at one of my callbacks, like, and it's just like I auditioned for that like back in October. I didn't hear anything about it for like 3 to 4 months. And then ended up randomly, I was at dinner with my girlfriend, like we were bickering about some shit. And I went to the bathroom and like I checked my phone and it was like, you got to call back for King Richard. And I was like, what? Like, fuck everything. What are we talking about? Like, I got but then it's like,
it's all good. I'm not fighting with you anymore. I got to call back.
Don't even trip. But that's why I was like really being able to like harness and hone in on your emotions too, because one thing that taught me, and I have an acting journal of what I learned and from every audition that I do. Every audition I'll write down like, what did I learn? And one of the things I learned from that is, for one, keep that shit to yourself. I was kind of telling people too soon. I didn't realize it was going to be 4 callbacks. Like I thought I booked that shit off the first audition. Like it's like no. Like
you got a little excited. That's okay.
Yeah, but I say that just to say like protect your energy, because you releasing it too soon can start to bring other people's energy into your vision. And so I'm just like, all right, word. Like that's definitely one of my biggest lessons. Like know that you got it and do the thing and just, keep it to you. Tell everybody, let them see you on set, like don't even worry about that right now.
Let your craft and let your work speak louder.
And that's what I focus on now. And just from the aspect of like, I was claiming it, I was ready for it, and just being like, but at the same time, it's like, you still got to fight for it regardless. And so I was a dog in that audition. Like even being sick, I gave them everything I had. And a big part of it was just like, one of my callbacks, he had me just improv for like 10 minutes. They're sitting there and he's just like, okay, you guys are on the corner, your homies, you or whatever, you're doing your thing, go. And like me and 4 other actors had the improv for like 10 minutes straight, and they wanted to see who the alpha was. So I was like, all right, let's go.
Damn. I love it. Me and you should throw it out improv style.
Right.
Yeah, we'll just do a Zoom improv session.
Zoom improv session.
Just kidding. I would never. Let me
That's
take a
funny.
couple more classes until we can go there.
Yeah, I feel you. So yeah, everything, just being able to now like kind of look back and see how things have been connecting for me, it really has allowed me to trust what is for me, because there's so many different things that I went out for that I didn't get, and I'm grateful that I didn't get them, and then like so many things that I've like now that have led me to be able to get certain things. Like I'm really being like, okay, word, like I'm really grateful about the things how I'm starting to build my resume with this stuff. Like it's jobs that I'm really grateful for. So I'm just praying that it continues that way.
Dude, this is amazing. This is really, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
So proud. Like, I've always known you to be a positive person. I've known you to be with a good head on your shoulders, even when we were young and working at Gold's Gym. And I think that's why we got along well and always mature. I feel like that maturity was always there. And life just needed to take you on a journey so that you can kind of figure things out along the way. And that's a lifelong journey. Like, you're going to still grow in your area. You're never going to make it per se. It's always learning something and growing in your character, and even within your profession and the skills and everything, and sharing that, even sharing these stories, like that is sharing your experiences and inspiring other people to learn from the things that you learned from. So I'm super proud. Go you.
Oh, thank you. It is interesting though, because like there's very few people that I stayed in contact with from like those days. So it's cool to be like, I can see why and how I ended up connecting like with you, opposed to like other people that I met. I'm actually still cool with Robert too though. Like we don't talk as much, but like we'll hit each other up sometimes on Instagram.
Yeah, gravitating towards people who have that same energy and have that same positivity. So that's super dope. So man, we can timestamp today. I'll hit you back up in another 5 years and see if you being homies, best friends with Will Smith and all these amazing talented actors. But why don't you go ahead and tell everybody where they can follow you and find you on your socials?
Everything is just my name, Calvin, Calvin, Clausell Jr. at whatever site. That's just it.
Everything is your name. Okay.
Everything is my name, yeah.
I'll be sure to include it down below for everybody to follow. Yes, down here. And you got, like, he's telling these stories. I've already seen firsthand the talent of his art pieces, and even within his acting, there's so much to see. Hopefully when everything finally settles and things are back in motion, or even not, I know that that's not going to stop you, and you're going to keep killing it and doing what you're doing. So
no, definitely. LA's Finest with Gabrielle Union and Jessica Alba should be coming out later this year. Snowfall should be coming out later this year, and King Richard will be coming out 2021.
All right, stay tuned, follow it up. That's going to be fun to watch. Okay, bro, thanks for chatting with me. Thanks for coming on.
Of course.
Good to see you. I'm, again, proud of you, glad about everything that's happening, even with the girl. 2 years, huh? 2 years. And you're 30? Okay. All right, guys, well, thanks for watching. Please leave comments. Reach out to Calvin. He's a super down-to-earth, super cool guy. He'll respond. He'll show you some love, I promise. Like and subscribe. I'm going to keep throwing these videos out for you from the creatives. And yeah, have a good one. Thanks, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Yeah, you the model, the lawyer, the stewardess. You the doctor, the dentist, you doing it. That's why they scared of your beauty, they scared of your face, they scared